what's up? It's Michael. Yo, welcome to Comics on Canes. First of all, I want to thank you so much for watching the podcast, man. We've had our best couple of weeks ever. It's a new podcast, but as I speak right now, we're over 830 subscribers already. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If this is your first time, hit that subscribe button. Also, we got a podcast you can listen to. It's free. Just go to anywhere you listen to podcasts and type in Comics on Canes, and we can hook you up. We're 4-0. Forrest, Rudy, into the show. What's going on, guys?
By the way, instant reaction or almost instant reaction that we did the other day is, I think, over 2,000, almost getting closer to 3,000 views. Thank you for watching that. If you did watch that and you haven't subscribe, please. But what's going on is we're 4-0. We have the Heisman Trophy, the leader for the Heisman Trophy race, and we're looking good coming into this ACC play now, into the meat of the schedule.
I tell you, I think it's so interesting to me because I listen to all the podcasts. I love all the podcasts, and everyone, and I talk about it all the time, everyone has so much PTSD about this team. They were like, well, we're playing Virginia Tech, and you know what they've done in the past. Yes, Virginia Tech has beat us in the past a lot of times. I want to say it was either Virginia Tech that broke that the longest home winning streak when we went. It was either Virginia Tech or Clemson, but I think it was Virginia.
I believe it was Virginia.
Oh, it's Virginia. You're right. I knew it was Virginia.
I think it's Virginia but it's funny that you think that they've beat us a lot, but we're 25-15 all time against them. So we're dominating the series, but we've had some bad losses against them. We've had some close calls. We did seem to dominate them when they had Michael Vick somehow.
Yeah, but I would be interested to know our record the last 10 times we played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of those 15 wins came in there. But they always play us tight, though. Even in that 2001, that the greatest team of all time, I believe it was 24-22. I remember that game. I had gone skydiving that day, and I was like, we're going to roll over these. And I went and I sat down, and somewhere it was the fourth quarter, and we're just having this nail biter up in their place. And it was tight. I mean, we did end up pulling it out in the end, but it was like, it's always tight with them. I mean, they're one step below like a Florida State to me, obviously, of like this rivalry. Always gotta, doesn't matter what the records are, but they are right there. Like they are right there with that, where you're like, it's VTech. This is going to be. But
I don't think they're right there this year. And every podcast I'm listening to, they're like, oh, it could be a good game. Yes, every game could be a good game. And what you're saying is nothing. That's like saying, well, you could lose every game. Yes, you could. This is what I don't like about a lot of podcasts. They don't make statements. They just do generalities, if that's a word. I don't even know if that's a word. They're like, well, it could be a good game. Of course it could be a good game, but make a statement, say what's going to happen like we do on this podcast. Miami's going to blow the hell out of Virginia Tech. I'm letting you know right now. It's going to be 5-0. It's not last. They were like, well, Georgia Tech, we were 4-0 last year, and then Georgia Tech, yeah.
Do you know the line?
This year is not last year, okay?
Do you know the line? Do you know the line?
Yeah. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
No. I'm saying, do you know the spread in the game?
Yes, it moved from 16 to 19 now.
Yeah, it's up to 19, which when I saw that, I was like, wow. I was like, I don't remember the last time we've been favored by that much against Virginia Tech. But then I also looked at who Virginia Tech's played. They're 2-2. They beat up on two. They lost to Vanderbilt that first game. They were ranked, to start the season. And then I think they beat Bowling Green, someone else, and then they lost to Rutgers.
Now, this is what I heard on a podcast. They were like, well, we lost to Rutgers too last year. I was like, last year's team is not this year's. It's so frustrating. It's just so frustrating listening to podcasts that don't make statements. They just, it could be. Yes, look, I'm going to stop because I get hot listening to these podcasts. Man, I tell you, look, Miami's going to roll. I will say this. I don't know if they're going to win by 19. I do not know if they'll win by 19 because Miami played, I believe, 62 players in the last game. Freshmen, sophomores, young players. The game before they did the same. Miami, if they get up 21, 28 points, they'll start playing these younger players. But the thing is, these younger players now are playing really good. They're really good.
From the since I always represent the PTSD crew, I'll tell you what people are out there are thinking right now. Friday night game. It's a Friday night game, and you go back and look again in recent time. I'm not saying that this is how I feel. I think we're going to beat Virginia Tech. I think it'll be pretty sound. They don't look very good. They're 98th in passing yards, 47th in rushing. Their defense is like, I think, the 60s or 70s. Like, they're statistically not there, and they haven't even played anybody really tough on their schedule. Rutgers is the best team they play. Or maybe Vanderbilt's pretty good, but anyways, that we've had a lot of these games now, like on a Friday night or Thursday night, where weird shit's happened or we've lost something or whatever. So I know that's like swirling around people's brains and stuff too. But I feel good. This is a home game. I feel like that USF game was the door opening to the schedule. We're like, hey, you can't just like be in la la land for this. You gotta watch tape. You gotta prepare. You gotta go out there. Are we more talented? Yeah, but we do that. We go out there. We're gonna win. You know. So
well, I just think here's the thing. What you're finding out in the ACC is teams you thought were good were just average. I remember when Georgia Tech beat Florida State the first game. The first thing I texted y'all, and I even tweeted this or X'd it or whatever you say now. I said 2 average teams just played. And that was when the hype was all about. I was like, Georgia Tech beat an average team and maybe below average. And then it was who beat Auburn? What team, ACC team beat Auburn?
Cal did.
Cal. And then everybody was like, Cal. And then Auburn loses to Arkansas. It's kind of like what you're finding out is the teams that were supposed to be good because they beat certain teams, they're beating average teams. Miami's not an average team. Miami's really good.
By the way, should we give a golf clap to FSU? They finally won.
Nah, I hate FSU. I would love, and then you even have some fans that go like Forrest. Well, I wish they would win all the games so when Miami played. No, I want FSU to lose every single game they play for the rest of their lives.
It hurts. Do you understand? It hurts them more. Like if they come in there, I know it's not going to happen now. They're 1-3. They're terrible. But if they come in there like, oh, we're 10th in the country, we're undefeated, and then you crush them, it hurts them more. That's what I'm talking. I want them to hurt more. I'm not like I want them to feel good. I want them to hurt more.
No, I think you're a sympathizer. I think you're an FSU sympathizer. I want them to hurt
more. Trust me. I want them to hurt more. And it's not going to hurt more now because they're going to walk in our game like, well, we have nothing to lose. And if you blow us out, big deal. That's what they're going to say on message boards instead of
but still, to blow out a team, I don't care. And it's FSU. Man, I would rather be, man, look, I'm not down. I don't want Ohio State to ever win another game. I do not want FSU to win another game. And I hate Florida because they won't play us. And I remember in that game when we were playing Florida, they were like, oh, well, our AD is talking to their AD about scheduling us more. And you never heard nothing else from that conversation.
Let me just tell you, Ohio State's a different story. I hope the program disbands. I don't like Ohio State is. I told you I just watched the U again for I don't know how many times and the U part 2. And when it got to the Ohio State part, I was getting sick to my stomach. I don't like Ohio State. I don't even like Thad Matta. This is how much hate I have for Ohio State. Thad Matta was the basketball coach when Jack McClintock was I don't know if you remember, he was a guard that played for us. I think he played in Europe a little bit after. He played a little bit in the NBA. And he went out and he told I was sitting behind the bench and he was literally telling them to go and just keep poking and needling, hit him until he like reacted back. Thad Matta hasn't been the coach for Ohio State for probably 20 years, and I still hate him. So that's how much I hate Ohio State. So, that's a different story. But.
Well, I'm excited about today's show because we have 2 great guests coming on. Geo Milian is going to be on the show. I mean, if you're a Canes fan, you know him. He's going to be on the show. Also, Kelsey Farese, she does our SEC update every single week. I don't know what her record is. I think she's kind of even. She's been predicting the games. I think she's kind of like half and half. She's 50% right now. But I was talking to, here's what's interesting, an expert gambler that makes a profession of it. Do you know the percentage? Guess. I want you to guess. Guess the percentage of wins for an expert bettor that's considered like their career.
53%.
Yes, you're right, because you are a gambler, Forrest.
Yes, I'm an addict, but yes, I know it's not good. It's not, well, that's good for gambling, but people think that 70 or 6, nah, right above 50.
Yeah.
53%, you are considered an expert gambler. So going into it, you're going to lose half your money all the time. And these are from experts, man. Experts. By the way, DraftKings, if you want to be our sponsor, feel free. We'll change those. We'll make it 70% if you
Yeah. Does DraftKings have on their elementary school age gymnastics? Because that's where I'm spending all my time and making most of my bets right now.
Oh, wow. You bet on children's gymnastics.
Yeah, because all the dads just sit around like, you know how boring. Listen, your kids aren't at that age yet. Forrest, you're doing everybody a favor by not populating the country. Thank you for your service, but I'm telling you get stuck at these places sometimes for hours on end, 8 to 10 hours. You're sitting at a sporting event. To make it interesting, we bet with the dads. There's no repercussions on the backside of it. Just, put a little money down on if your kid's going to be able to, is she going to score more than an 8.4 on the vault? And when she does, hey, man, she's earning her keep.
Let me tell you something, Rudy. I went to just a practice. My daughter's in gymnastics. She's 4. And it was the longest 2 hours of my life.
The worst thing you'll ever do with your life.
But it's so cute. It's cute.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It's great. You get a couple of pictures. You send it off to the grandparents. They love it. Boy, there are times where you will, and I know a lot of people have talked about it. There are times where you will be at these things and betting is the only thing that actually makes it interesting because you'll be at an event and just go, my daughter had tried, I think, volleyball for a while. And they're like, well, if she wins at 8:30, they play again at 4:15. And you're like, no. Just lose. I want to go home.
God, yeah.
Sunday, I just want to go home. God damn it.
Full disclosure, I did have kids, but I lost them in a back alley dice game in Kansas City. So,
all right, we got to take a quick break. We're going to come right back with Geo Milian. Hang tight. Hey, what's going on? It's Michael. Yo, man, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Help us out a little bit. We're trying to grow this station. Thanks because of you. We're already over 500 subscribers, and it means a lot. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. We appreciate it. It's all about Comics on Canes and the U. Now, this guy, I follow him on X, man. If you're a Canes fan, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Sports writer, sports media personality. He's on every single podcast because he brings it. Geo Milian, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. No, Hurricane fans are not too happy about that California game in the start time.
Well, here's the thing. Let's be honest. Like, we're all parents now or we're all older. But 20 years ago, a 10:30 game was nothing to us because we wouldn't go out to dinner till like 11:30 back in the day.
Yeah, no, you're right. I know some people are upset about it. It's kind of that Pac-12 after dark time slot that Miami's getting. It is a little concerning because Mario Cristobal has had some battles with California's head coach, Justin Wilcox. Mario actually lost to him twice, beat him twice in the Pac-12 when he was with Oregon. So we'll see how that shakes out when it comes about.
Now, Gio, I talk a lot about it on this podcast. You sound already like a person that has a lot of PTSD from Miami. I don't believe in PTSD. I believe in the team we have this year that's going to go to Cal and roll over Cal. But before we get to that game, because Forrest on the show, he has a lot of PTSD too. And every podcast I listen to, everybody's look, I don't, this team is so different. That's why I don't have it this year. But where are you on the Miami PTSD?
I would personally say, so I said before the season, many people had asked me, they're like, Gio, what do you think Miami's going to do this year? I had Miami marked down as an 11-win team this year. I just thought between the roster composition, that the offensive line, just in general, they average about 6'5", 6'6", 325 across the board. They have a room full of tight ends, a room full of running backs. One of only 2 teams in the country to have 3 receivers on their roster that had over 800 yards last year. And then just that defensive line between returning Ruben Bain, adding Tyler Barron, guys like Simeon Barrow, who's really starting to emerge now. And I can continue tossing names and rambling on, but I just felt Miami had a very well-constructed roster, and I thought their schedule was very favorable. I will be honest, though, how dominant they've looked through 4 weeks, I did not see that coming. I thought they would beat the Gators by 2 touchdowns. I had predicted them to, kind of tight battle heading through the third quarter. They'd pull away in the fourth because of just sheer physicality and size. They've passed the eye test completely. I have no PTSD right now because I don't think Miami's ever had a quarterback like Cam Ward.
Let me tell you something, Gio. Let me cut you off right there. And this is my first question I wanted to ask you because I said it last podcast. Cam Ward is the best quarterback Miami has ever had. And I stand by that statement. What do you say?
I agree 100%. He actually leads the nation right now in passing touchdowns, yardage. He's second. Quarterback rating, second. Miami's passing offense, one of the top 3 in the country right now. Pro Football Focus, if anyone checks out those weekly grades, I always put them out. They love Miami. They have Miami ranked as the second best team in the country right now behind Ole Miss. So Ole Miss looks pretty good on offense. So maybe those two, they'll meet up in the playoffs. We'll see.
Well, here's my thing about Cam Ward. It's on this show. Well, I like to call him slow-mo Cam because everything is so slow to him. It moves so slow. Even when they were on the goal line and he clapped and the team jumped and showed their blitz from the right-hand side, I believe, and he just tapped the running back on his shoulder, placed the dude right on his right, and basically pointed where the rush was coming from and went about his business. I mean, that's the type of level of quarterback you're dealing with right now. And it's fun. I can be honest, I've never seen a quarterback that cool, calm, and collected before the play, during the play, or even while he's in the play.
Yeah, he's Cam Cool right now. Everything just seems very easy for him. That he sees the field very well, has great control of the offense, and then it helps just the amount of weapons that he has. Miami has guys across the board on this roster that are going to be playing on Sundays next year. They'll probably have 10 draft picks off this team alone because they're that deep this year. Mario did a great job just constructing the roster through the high school level, landing a top 10 class, following that up with a top 5 class. The transfer portal, just tons of guys that have actual production, not like what Florida State did, going after guys that were basically the rejects of Alabama, LSU. And, it may be harsh me calling them rejects, but those guys they had no production at their prior schools. Mario had a plan set in place to add guys that brought value, had experience, leadership, and real production. And this is what you see now with Miami this year. And one last note I'll even add on to that, just about high school and freshmen and whatnot. Miami is now in this great situation that if you're a true freshman and you're playing real significant snaps, it's not out of necessity anymore. You've got to be a dude to play as a true freshman at Miami now, just like Alabama, just like Georgia, any top tier program around the country, just like that.
You know what I love is, just OJ Frederick. Look at it. A true freshman is out there and not just out there playing zone, where this is your area. This dude is man-to-man, bump and run. And that's just amazing that this dude was a 3-star. They saw the talent in him. Of course, I was listening to Guidry, and he was like, of course, you don't know they're going to turn into that, but we saw some potential. But for this freshman to go out there and do that, it's absolutely amazing, man.
And the greatest thing about it, there was a ton of Miami fans that actually bashed the kid when he committed to Miami because he was a 3-star recruit. I've been hammering away on the X Spaces on podcasts for a long time now. Yes, the blue chip recruits, it's all great. Is the glitz and glamour, the top 5 class this, top 10 class that, but you have to be able to evaluate the guys that kind of fall through the cracks. He came from Deerfield High Schools, went over to St. Thomas Aquinas. They had a bunch of stars there and whatnot, always uber athletic and talented. But Coach Guidry even mentioned a week ago saying that when they were recruiting him, he was telling some of his assistant coaches, he said, that guy right there, he's the guy. And that boils down to just evaluation. And this coaching staff is really big on that even active evaluation, because they have guys in the recruiting class right now, but they're watching senior tape of kids around the country trying to see, all right, maybe we missed on this guy, or maybe we missed this guy. So they're completely on top of it. And just him specifically is that exact example of the difference from the past regimes till now. There's real evaluation and real development going on in that program right now. Even Isaiah Horton is a guy who stuck it out 3 years, Not many people expected much from him coming into Miami out of the Tennessee area, but he's really blossomed now.
By the way, I couldn't remember, so I just looked it up. Ed Reed was a 2-star recruit, just so you know. And that back then, and when we had those teams that were just loaded, we had the 4 and 5-star recruits, and they were on the team. But that's why we were so good back then, because they had other people just digging out those gems. Where like, yeah, nobody wants this guy. I mean, I'm future Hall of Famer. Arguably the best safety in the history of NFL. I mean,
just look at your quarterback, no star, or maybe a 1-star out of high school, Cam Ward, and then you got Mish Powell that was a walk-on, I believe. So I mean, basically, these players that are striving have come with no recognition, no fanfare, and let's be honest. And this is something you won't hear on other podcasts, but let's be honest. Some Miami fans, and I'll put it at probably like 45-50% of Miami, they're horrible. Horrible fans. Absolutely. You are garbage. You are absolute. Yes. And if you are that, yes, I'm talking to you.
Please subscribe.
A lot of Miami fans are absolute garbage. I see the board. You're talking crap about Sam Brown. You're talking crap about even Akeem Messidor. What happened to him? Shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. You're the same person. And I read these books. Y'all the same people that 2 years ago asking why X was playing, Brashard Smith should be playing over him because X isn't a game breaker. Yes, I'm talking to you, Miami fans. Yes, just like you're talking about Damian Martinez. The longer you go on the season, you're going to appreciate him because he's going to be able to run over teams. Teams are going to get worn out at the end of the year. Damian Martinez, they're saving him. They're saving him. They know what's coming. They know the playoffs are coming. So let me tell you, about 45 to 50%. And hopefully, if you're that, I don't want you even listening to this, but just go because this is not the place for you. Look, we are diehard Kane fans, and yes, we have a strong opinion. We have it, but talking about Sam Brown, Damian Martinez, yes. And if you listen to this show, AJ Allen is my dude. I think he's underrated. And now the other podcast is saying, oh, what about AJ Allen? Look, AJ Allen's always been that dude. But my thing is don't attack these players. You haven't even seen them finish out the season yet.
Wait a minute. Are you guys telling me that the same people that I met in Miami at the tailgate, the same tattooed, beer drinking, meat grilling guys with the loudest goddamn music I've ever heard in my entire life. You mean to tell me those guys are opinionated, that they have feelings and they want to share? Are we talking about the same fans who made us do shots at 11 a.m.? Is that the same fans? Is it?
Some of them are. There's a lot of Kane fans that are not on social media. Some are, and they go to the games and whatnot. I've seen the casual Kane fans as well that they don't even know a single player's name on the team. That they just say, "Oh yeah, we have ourselves a quarterback."
Yeah, no. Let me ask you this, Geo. Akeem Messidor. Let's talk about why is he playing tackle? Because I do think a legitimate question is, of course, he thrived playing defensive end. I mean, he was a game changer 2 years ago. Ruben Bain's not playing right now. Why do you think they moved him to defensive tackle? Or is this a thing where they kind of convinced him that, hey, in the draft, if you can play, everybody knows you can play in, but if you can excel at this too, that kind of breaks you through. What is the reason? Or I've heard possibly he's not fully 100% yet, and this kind of limits his movement. What says you?
Yeah, so Coach Guidry said right before, no, it was actually about right after the UF game, saying that Messidor was getting close to 100%, had an issue with his foot that he had to get special cleats and whatnot. Yep. Reason why he missed most of last season, and it was lingering from the year before. It ended that 2022 campaign that he was really great right near the end of the season. But a lot of it boils down to just getting your best players on the field. So, for example, a guy like Akeem Messidor could play inside and outside on that line. Ruben Bain can as well. So you'll see some NASCAR packages when Ruben is back this week. You throw in Ruben Bain in there, Akeem Messidor, and you toss in Elijah Alston and Tyler Barron on the edges, and you just say, all right, let's meet at the quarterback. But, yeah, mostly it boils down to that, though, just getting your best players on the field. And the other thing with it, too, if they kept him strictly at defensive end, you kind of have this situation that's created where, all right, how are we going to get him on the field, and then Bain on the field, and then Alston, and then Barron? It kind of evens it out. And again, like I said, gets your best players on the field. But I think he's been playing phenomenal. He's been getting better every week. He's getting comfortable again, and that's really what it boils down to. A lot of fans forget this. I've been around football. My brother's played football. I've known guys that have gone off to the NFL from little league till now. The biggest thing with football, and when it comes to injuries, it's about building that confidence back. Sometimes when you have a serious injury, you're not trusting that knee, trusting that ankle, turning on it, cutting on it, just any which way or word you want to put towards that. It's basically that.
All right, let's move forward to Virginia Tech this weekend. What's a couple keys to victory for you?
Stopping that pass rush. Antoine Powell-Ryland, I think I might have butchered his last name, but got to check again. The Virginia Tech defensive end is very, very good. Don't think their entire defensive line is on the same caliber as Miami, but Miami's offensive line, I think they should do a pretty good job in terms of handling that pass rush. You get Jalen Rivers back this week. Again, Francis Mauigoa has taken another step this year as a second-year player. The other things I see is they have some receivers that can actually get downfield and make plays. Miami's cornerbacks will be tested a little bit in this game. Also, you got to be disciplined and contain on defense. Kyron Drones, very, very, very athletic quarterback. Actually, what was one of his strengths a season ago, being a quarterback getting outside the pocket and delivering throws downfield, it's actually been one of his weaknesses this year for Virginia Tech, which has been kind of surprising. But funny fact I'll mention here as well, he's also the cousin of Cam Ward.
I heard that.
Yes, him, Shador Sanders, and Cam Ward all have the same quarterbacks coach and everything. So they all spent a ton of time together during the offseason.
Yeah, and then that video that was going around with when they're all sitting, with the Shador and him,
And my last key is run defense. Miami's had one of the best run defenses in the entire country this season, outside of a 71-yard run against Florida. That was pretty much a fluke.
Yep.
Basil Tootin for Virginia Tech is a really, really good running back. If you're a Kane fan and you're listening to this, don't sleep on him.
All right. Final score, Geo. What do you think?
All right. So the spread is about 17.5 the last time I checked.
It's 19 now.
Oh, it's 19. Okay.
Yeah, 19.
All right. I'm sticking with the trend that Miami gets over 40 again. So I'm going to put down Miami 41, Virginia Tech 14.
Oh, and one last 41. What was it? 41 what?
14.
41. Okay, we'll get to our predictions later in the podcast after Kelsey. But do you think they do the blackout uniforms or the throwback? I saw some tweets about maybe possibly a throwback, which I thought was really cool.
That would be awesome if they do a throwback. I've been hearing for quite some time, though, that Virginia Tech would be a very likely blackout game. We'll see. They always like to keep it under wraps and whatnot, but that's what I heard during the offseason. So we'll see what they come out in.
All right, Geo, how can people find you, man?
You can find me on X at Geo Milian or on Instagram at geo.milian. Also, I am no longer working with companies anymore. I've gone completely independent in 2024.
That's what's up, baby.
It's very liberating, very free. Love it. There's nothing like your freedom and being able to pretty much say what you want and not have to be filtered and whatnot when you work with the big corporations. So it's a great time.
Well, man, that's why we started this podcast. I've been wanting to do it forever and finally found the right crew. And it's great that I'm not like, maybe you're a little bit different, but what I love about our podcast is I'm not trying to get on the field. I'm not trying to be in press conferences. I'm not trying to interview players. I'll interview past players. Like we got DJ Williams, Amon Richards coming up and all these people. I want to get Vanilla Ice on because he used to wear Miami Hurricanes back in the day. That'd be a great interview. But what's great about not being attached to trying to get access is it limits a lot that you could say. So this podcast, we can say anything. We can speak like the fans want to want to hear, because we're not trying to gain access. And that's a big thing when you're on your own. I'm sure you're a different level because you still want to get in press conferences and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Of course, I've covered things with the Heat and the Dolphins.
Yeah, of course.
Games, but yeah, there's a certain line that I have to toe, but definitely a lot more favorable now, because when you work with a corporation, it's kind of like, oh no, we don't want you to say this, or we don't want you to say that, and you kind of have your hands tied behind your back. But yeah.
Well, Geo, we're big fans of yours over here, man. Whenever you want to pop on, if you have some stuff you want to break on the show, hey, we're your platform. We're always here for you, bro, and I appreciate you.
Definitely. Thank you, guys.
All right, we're going to come back. We got Kelsey Farese. She's going to be breaking down the SEC. Hang tight. Hey, what's going on? It's Michael Yo. So it's going down September 26th through 28th. I'm shooting my brand new special, Tempe Improv. You know, people ask me, why I want to shoot it there. I don't know. It's not the greatest place for a half black and Asian person right now. So I was thinking, since the cameras are set up, why don't I give someone else an opportunity to shoot their special too? So I called my comedy tastemaker, Josh Sandoval, who's an up-and-coming comic. He said, Nick Murphy. So Josh set up a meeting. What's up?
What's up?
We shook on it. So Tempe, Arizona, it's up to you. If you don't want to support our dreams,
Then you might be my father.
Dad, hey, what's up? I love you too. You are amazing.
Mine's still blocked.
So this right here, it's coming. September 26th through 28th, Tempe Improv. We'll be there.
We'll both be there.
That was horrible.
The show's gonna be good though.
Yeah. We love her. She's on the show every single week, breaking down our SEC news. Please give it up for Kelsey Farese. What's up, girl?
What's up? What's up, guys? Y'all had a great week.
Oh, Miami. Oh, we're gonna have continuous great weeks for 12 weeks in a row, because I predicted at the beginning of the season 12-0. So,
but you jumped your rankings, didn't you? Y'all are ranked.
Look, Kelsey, we take it one game at a time. Rankings don't matter.
Climbing.
We just want to be 1-0 every week.
I feel that so much.
So what you got for us this week?
Yeah, just a quick recap on last week. We have to say my scores were not that far off on the LSU UCLA game. I feel like y'all thought I was crazy. I predicted that they were gonna win 17-34, and they won 28-22. So
yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty. So you got one game right.
Yeah, I got one game right. I did not get and actually I got two games right. I got the Tennessee beat Oklahoma at Oklahoma. Not the most warm welcome to the SEC for Oklahoma. I think that's putting a big chip on their shoulder, though, that we'll get to see a little bit more about this week. But then,
I will say, man, Tennessee, they're looking great. I mean, they got a defense this year. That team is looking great.
I think they're good.
Yeah.
And
I'm hoping to get to Knoxville for the Florida game, actually. I think it's October 12th. So we'll see. I'm talking to my little connects over there to see if we can make some fun content. If they can.
Why would you go to that game when Florida is going to get bashed?
Well, that's kind of the reasons I'm like, I don't like to go when. Well, I'm already trying to go to the hardest game on earth, the Georgia-Texas game. So I'm trying to ease my way in to when I'm traveling and make it a little bit easier for me.
Network
maneuver.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, and it's a good time to visit when it's I've actually never like been to a game in Knoxville. So I feel like it's a good time to go when you know you're going to win. So everyone's in a good mood and the stress is low.
That's true. That's true. Forrest, you were going to say something?
Just before people jump in the comments, you had the scores for LSU. You had them revert. You said 28-22 and it was 34-17. You had the right numbers. I just went back and checked because I know people think, I'm just defending you. That you had.
Thank you for protecting me. Yes, sorry, I have them right next to each other on my screen. So set up. But then the other game.
What's the next game?
And then the game I got wrong, the Arkansas Auburn game. Arkansas was able to get the W at home on Auburn, and there's been quite a bit of drama about this game. I don't know if you guys saw, or maybe you don't get served this stuff since you aren't Ole Miss fans, but Bo Wallace was the quarterback at Ole Miss under Freeze, And he took to Twitter on Saturday night and sort of blew things up. He was basically saying that after the post-game press conference that Freese was notoriously throwing his quarterbacks under the bus. And he was saying, you know, instead of taking the responsibility, saying we should have coached them better, that instead he was being like, just letting them take the full blame. And he said, but if they had won, he would have been taking all the credit. Oh, we coached them up. We had them ready to go. So it sort of exploded. People were just going crazy. And he went on a full tangent after that, basically saying that Freese would have him, that he had his health was always at risk and that Freese didn't care. So it's been a little spicy.
So wait a minute. Freese is throwing the quarterback under the bus. The quarterback has health issues as well?
Well, Bo Wallace is the one tweeting, and he was the quarterback at Ole Miss under Freese. And so he was saying that when he was quarterback, that he would be very injured and that Freese would just have him shot up with stuff and be like, get out there.
Got you.
Okay. And then he always felt like he would get thrown under the bus also. So I think he was sympathizing with Thorne and Howard this week, or Thorne and Brown this week, getting thrown under the bus during that post-game press conference.
You know what coach I love is the USF coach. His press conference before and after the game was phenomenal. He took the blame. He was like, hey, he wasn't a coach that's like, we need to play better. He goes, hey, we had the right defenses called. It's just they were making plays. That Cam Ward, he goes, I hate to keep going. That dude is special. And I love that. I love that about a coach, but I'm also old school. I came from where our parents called us out if we did something wrong. I don't have a problem if a coach coaches somebody up and they don't read it right. It's like, yo, we coached him up, he didn't execute. I kind of don't have a problem with that either. It's like, yo, why am I going to take the blame? Like, well, I could have coached him. No, he knew what he was supposed to do. Like, that's the problem with, to me, like, this goes into way bigger than football. But when a coach has to stand there, it's like, yo, we told him he was going to see this, and he still threw it to the wrong area. Hey, look, he didn't play well. I didn't coach well. He didn't play well. We all sucked. But I don't know. That's my take.
I feel like coaches, especially now with social media, like the airing of grievances is pretty much like instantaneous. So I feel like that stuff just probably rolls off their back. They're like, another day, another dollar. Like I don't
think so. I think what everybody attacking coaches left and right on social media, it gets to them. It gets to them. It gets to the players, and it's a thing where it's hard to deal with. Because when I played college football for Arkansas, literally you heard no fans. You know, unless you met them, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they had their grievances with you.
Unless you literally heard them from the sidelines.
Yeah, you had to literally see them. They didn't call you. They didn't. Now it's everywhere, man. It must be so tough.
Yeah, maybe that's why, and maybe that is why Bo Wallace was sort of like getting his back up and like trying to support Thorne and them, because maybe he was saying it is like a completely different time, even compared to when he was there, that when not even your feels like your coach is on your side and you have that whole internet, like the void just like coming at you, maybe it is just like too much. I don't know.
But I will say there's a lot of coaches that would have took that blame. And here's the thing with the kids today. And I'm calling these guys kids because they're 18, 19, 20 years old, and I'm old. You can't coach these kids like you used to either. Like you can't yell certain times. Like certain players need to be coached a certain way, and I get that too. So for a coach to go up there, even though he coached a player right, he has to kind of take the fall. And I don't think that's right, but you have to do it in today's society, or your player could transfer because he doesn't like you, and then you won't have a quarterback. So there you go.
All right. You said it well. You said it well last week, or maybe the week before, that like, especially these SEC teams coming into these really hard schedules, it's all about that relationship between the quarterback and the coach.
100%.
So I think that's going to be a big difference as we get into the really hard schedules. We're going to see how those relationships really come into play.
And that's why I think Lane Kiffin is so good with quarterbacks, because he just loves offense. He loves his quarterbacks, and that's why he always has a great relationship with them. All right, what's the big game this week, Kelsey?
So I've got my eye on a few games this week. I obviously am going to be watching Ole Miss playing Kentucky just because it's Ole Miss's first SEC game. It's going to be an early one for me. I think I have to get up at like 9 a.m. to watch that game. I'm not nervous, but Kentucky's defense, it looks like an NFL defense. They're really good. So I think this is going to be the first time that we're going to get to see Ole Miss like play like a team that's actually closer to their level or even like in the same realm as them. So I think it's going to be really fun to watch. I'm a little bit nervous. But like I said, like you were saying, Lane and his relationship with Jackson Dart's really good. I got to spend some time with them the last time I was home, and it's just really fun to see kind of the atmosphere and the culture that they have there. And although I did get in a little bit of trouble with them because of y'all. Oh yes,
What
I did.
happened?
I did. Well, you know, the little clickbaity picture we had where Rudy had made with Lane with the Gators visor on, and I'm like next to it with my mic, like,
Oh
Lane,
my God, yeah.
They saw me post that, and I got some DMs. I got some DMs from the players, and they were like, Kelsey, they were like, what are you doing? Why would you do this? And it almost was the energy like I knew something they didn't know. I'm like, aren't y'all literally in the locker room about to play right now? Like, what are you doing?
That's hilarious.
Okay.
See,
Somebody
Forrest,
else-
we're
I
in their
like-
locker room, Forrest.
That's right. Yeah, we're all in the locker rooms. Yeah,
Our
maybe we are in the locker room.
podcast is getting into people's locker room. Well, what Rudy made that because we were talking about Lane, the rumors Lane going to Florida. But to all you Ole Miss fans that are watching, I don't apologize for that. But I'm sure Kelsey does apologize. But she had no control of the artwork, so just know that.
Hey, it got them to click in though, you know. I
You know?
was like, hey, click the link. You'll see. You got
There
to
you go.
watch the content, man. You'll know what we're talking about.
So give me a score on the Kentucky Ole Miss game.
Okay, let me see. I said Ole Miss is going to win 27-14.
Ole Miss 27-14. Wow. Forrest, what do you think?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the Kentucky's defense, like you said, especially against Georgia and stuff like that. And I think, you know, like I said, Dart is and Cam Ward, they're neck and neck right now statistically, 1-2 in various categories. You guys, I think the quarterback play is going to win out in the end, but I think it'll be pretty tight, low scoring. I'm going to say 23-10.
23-10.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Stoops, you know, he's one of my friends. I've known him forever. Great defensive coordinator. That's how he made his name. He was the defensive back coach from Miami, went to Florida State, was their defensive coordinator. So defense is not going to be a problem for Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's hard, though, to contain receivers for a whole game. It's just to contain talent for that long. It's kind of like Miami USF. You know, they contained it to a certain point for the first half, but then talent wins at the end. It's going to be hard for Stoops to do it for that long, especially when you're dealing with receivers because they get so many pass interference calls. It's hard to get to the quarterback. So, you know what? If there is an upset this weekend, this is the upset.
Oh,
But, I mean, I could see like a 35-17 game. Ole Miss, just because they'll break loose in the fourth quarter, you know, and they can score a lot faster than Georgia can because Georgia likes to do it on the ground. So that it's just hard to contain teams. It's like hard to contain Miami because they got so many weapons. And Ole Miss, regardless of the Jackson, I think this is where we find out how good Jackson Dart is, though, right now. You know what I mean?
I feel like they're conditioned really well. They're very explosive. They play super fast, and their pace is kind of crazy to keep up with for that.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, so I think, it may be at the beginning, but then I think they're just going to take it away. So I really hope this isn't the upset. That is going to be a dagger.
Let me tell you, I hope it's an upset because I love Kentucky and I love Mark Stoops. All right, what's next?
Just because of the drama going on, I think Oklahoma is going to be playing Auburn. Auburn's going to have another chance to try to get a win at home. But I think that Oklahoma, I think they've got a big chip on their shoulder because I think they're already looking ahead to playing Texas. And I think they're like, we're not going into SEC play 0-2. Like we're going to win this game. So also, of course, with all the quarterback drama still going on up until like filming right this second, Farese said it's still a battle in the quarterback room of who's going to start. So we'll see. That's going to be an interesting one. But
I think this. What's your score?
I have Oklahoma winning 37-21.
See, I don't think it's even going to be close. Forrest, you can go after me on this one. I think this is going to be a blowout. I think Oklahoma's going to blow them out. Remember, Cal beat Auburn, and everybody thought that was something. And then Cal loses to Florida State. So let's just think about that for a second. I think it's going to be a blowout. I say Oklahoma 42-10.
Yeah, 38-10 is where I'm at. I think the same thing. I think Auburn's very good. Oklahoma, like you said, they got to get that win. They're going to come out motivated. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the big game, Georgia, Alabama.
Every TV probably in the country is going to be tuned to this game, Alabama versus Georgia. I can't believe that we're getting a matchup like this kind of so early in the season. It's going to be crazy. I also am just curious to see how this is going to affect the rankings and all that, depending on which way it goes. You know, it's going to be a very interesting game. Alabama, super talented, obviously, on the offense. I think they're going, gosh, I really don't know. This is kind of one I keep going back and forth on, because also Georgia's offense has been playing extremely well. Carson Beck hasn't been, I think he's been sacked one time this season. He hasn't thrown an interception. He's been playing really well, despite some of, the scores, like you were talking about the Kentucky game earlier. I really don't know. What are your thoughts on this? I feel like I need guidance. I don't know.
Forrest?
I think Alabama's going to win this game. I feel like this is.
Is it at Alabama or Georgia?
Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
It's at Alabama. Alabama, not that they've been terrible.
Uh-oh. We lost Forrest.
We lost him.
We lost Forrest.
He must have had some insider information that he
got cut off. They were like, he knows too much. He knows too much. All right, I'll give you my take. If it's at Alabama, I think Georgia, look, I don't watch the SEC that much. I'm going to be honest with you. But I've seen both teams play. Miami played USF. Alabama played USF. That's the only comparison I have on it. I would say Alabama's great. Georgia's better. I think Georgia goes into Alabama and beats them. I think Georgia plays their best game of the year so far. So, but a very close, 28-25, something like that, or a 38-35 game. That's what I see. Give me a score, Kelsey.
I'm actually going to say Alabama. Since they're at home, I'm going to say Alabama's going to win 32-21.
32-21. All right. Forrest, he just disappeared. I don't know what happened to him, but we love you, Forrest. Hopefully you can come back one day.
We love you.
How can people find you, Kelsey?
Guys, y'all can find me on Instagram. It's just my name, @Kelsey Farese. Or you can listen to my podcast. I do it with my dad. It's called The Lawyer's Daughter, true crime podcast. It's fun. It's a good time.
All right. Thank you, Kelsey. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Hey, what's going on? It's Michael. Yo, man, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Help us out a little bit. We're trying to grow this station. Thanks because of you. We're already over 500 subscribers, and it means a lot. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. We appreciate it. It's all about Comics on Canes and the U. Thank you so much to Kelsey Farese. Remember, make sure you follow her on Instagram and all that good stuff. All right. I had Forrest pull some comments, because thank you, by the way. We love your comments. We look through all the comments, and great ones we'll pull and talk about them on the show. We'll do our comments now from you guys. We'll respond to those, and we're going to give our predictions right after that. What do you got for us?
Well, there are a lot of people out here thinking that you saying something on a podcast is going to get into the Canes locker room somehow, which I think is very flattering. For instance, at Ernst Pierre 9644 says, "Why are you insisting on that subject of AJ Allen, brother? Do you really want division among our players, especially among our backs? So please slow down with that and let's enjoy our Canes, bro."
Now, this is what I found amazing, is that people really think what I say is going to get into the locker room. And even if it does, there's this thing called culture. It doesn't matter. And our jobs is to say exactly what we see. I said it at the beginning of the year, and now everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. AJ Allen is that dude. He's different from the other backs. Lyle is amazing. Damian Martinez, Chris Johnson, Mark, they're all amazing. Just AJ Allen is different. And there's nothing wrong in saying that. There's nothing wrong in me saying that AJ Allen, okay, he doesn't start, be second, but he shouldn't be fifth coming off the bench. No way. No way. And I'm interested to see. It looks like A.J. Allen's going to continue to be on a team, but he's played 4 games.
Yeah.
So if I was him, I would stay too, because I think they got every running back on a pitch count. Like I've said in the past, Rasta kind of talked me down off of that. And I think they're saving everybody. They're going to give everybody a game, because I don't see anybody competing with Miami this year. They're going to go 12-0. And then when they get to the playoffs, we'll see who they play. But right now, I think every running back is going to shine. Lyle last week with a 91-yard touchdown. A.J. Allen the week before with a 76-yard touchdown. But notice, those 2 dudes with the long touchdowns. Everybody else short touchdowns, because they're different. A.J. Allen, and I said it last week, and I'll say it again, when they needed that 2 yards for a first down, he's the only back that could have got that, because it had to do with quickness, cuts, and strength, and he has it all. That's all I'm going to say. And
the same guy, by the way, the same guy said, hopefully all our players are not. Another comment: our players are not watching your show right now because you're giving them the wrong idea, especially AJ Allen. And also at Wild Smoke 72 wants all the smoke. He goes, why do you all care about recruiting? Then sit down there and tell players to go start elsewhere. Makes no sense. Thought we were all about this. You either want to load a roster, or you don't. Stop crying because your favorite player isn't starting. But I think you just answered that.
Oh yeah, I'm not crying. See, this is ridiculous. And these are the Miami fans I don't want to even listen to the podcast. Because, don't listen. Don't go, leave. I don't need you. We don't need you. Look, if you can't understand why I'm saying, if you can't watch a game and know A.J. Allen is different, you don't need to listen to this podcast. You really don't. Yeah. Like I said before, I never disrespected any other running backs. I said every running back could start for another team. Miami is loaded from front to back. But if you can't watch a game and see that A.J. Allen is different, your football IQ is pathetic. Pathetic.
Disrespect. You'll like this comment from at Kane City Cart.
Oh, Lord.
15409. Forrest, you're a prisoner of the past. You won't be able to enjoy what's happening right in front of you. This is the beginning of something special. So I feel like this was you on a burner account.
It's very therapeutic.
It's so true, man. Yeah. I don't understand. Look, I've been there for 23 years too, watching the misery. And here's the thing, man. The past is the past. Like when people say, well, we've never won. We're terrible off a bye week. Okay. It's a new year, new team. It don't matter. Last year don't matter. Yeah. And I've been saying it. I've been preaching it. The only time it's starting to work. Yeah. The only time I think it would matter, possibly, if you have the exact same team. No different players. Like in the past, maybe it was, because literally you would come back the next year. There wasn't as many transfers. You would have the same team. But today, I mean, I don't want to even get into next year when we lose 11 players and have to replace Cam Ward and all these beasts on the defensive line of scrimmage. No, I'm not going to even get into that right now.
Don't think about that.
Don't think. I'm enjoying what's happening right now. Yeah. But there's going to be a whole new team next year, and then we will evaluate that team. So, but right now, there is no PTSD because it's a totally different team. So you can't compare the past anymore.
Okay.
Anymore.
One more comment, just at Blaze 352 Oak. That's the question. Do they go live after every game and we can repeat that? Hey, we have a semi-instant reaction because, as Michael said, I think in the comments, is like we're comics. We're usually on stage when that happens, but we will be doing a instant reaction to the games, generally the day after, right, Michael?
Yeah, I think it's hilarious to do an instant reaction a day later. It's kind of like when Bill Burr does the Monday morning podcast on Thursday. Yeah. I think that, to me, it's funny.
I mean, to be honest, when you said almost instant reaction, I'm like, that's marketable. That is exactly what comics do. We're always a day late and $1 short to everything. So the fact that it's an almost instant reaction, man, I
love it.
Brilliant.
So we're going to roll with that. We'll do the almost instant reaction a day later or whatever. So we'll be doing, and the great thing is we do those live, and we take your interaction, we put it up there, we talk to you guys. So yeah, we'll keep doing that. Anything else of these whining Miami Hurricane fans? No, that's it for the comments
this week, but I'm sure there'll be more. It's the internet. They'll come. So yeah.
But you know what I love though? On our podcast, the trolls haven't found it yet from other teams because we're so good. What are they going to say? What are they going to say? But the Miami fans that are whining about me talking about AJ Allen, and now every podcast is talking about AJ Allen, your football IQ is pathetic, and you don't need to listen to the show.
Michael, right now at Green Tree Field, they are having our podcast is being pumped through the locker room. Just saying.
I think it is.
Yeah. And they've heard.
I think it is. Put it like this. I do know one thing. Players do know me because when I was standing on that sideline, a couple of them gave me the what's up. Yeah. What's up? Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, I fangirled out. I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, inside. As a man, I stood there like, but inside I was like, ah!
Yeah, maybe, or they just thought The Rock was sick or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they were like, that Rock guy lost a lot of weight.
Joe Coy's here. Who would have thought?
They were like, oh, who's that? The Pebble? Is that the Pebble? Predictions. We got to do predictions real quick. Go for it, Forrest.
I don't think Virginia Tech's quarterback is very. I know Geo said he's pretty good. His QB rating is like 46.5 or something like that, and they haven't really, beaten anybody of note. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do much. It's a night game in our own place. I'm going to say 42-6. Like real a big. I feel like we're just going to dominate them.
42-6. Wow. That's bold. Now, let me tell you something, for it. That's a bold statement that you think USF will score more than Virginia Tech, which could be because USF is really good. Rudy.
I had written down earlier today 41-14, but since Geo took 41-14, I'm going to change mine a little bit. I'm going to say 44-17. I think Miami's just going to be far too much for Virginia Tech. And I don't know, just going back and looking at some of those earlier games throughout the last few years, Miami's just dominating right now. There was that stint during the early 2000s where it was a little rough playing Virginia Tech, but Miami is just, they're going to be way too much for Virginia.
I've been saying it at the beginning. This team is different. They built different. It's the only, this is the only time I'm ever confident in saying we could play with Georgia. We could play with Alabama. We can play with the Ohio States. I think defensively, our defensive line is deep enough. I think it's all about the trenches. And I think we would hold up. I have to see how, and this what gave me a lot of confidence is when Kentucky played Georgia so well. And you can say Georgia had a bad game, and you can say Kentucky had a great, whatever you want to say. Look, it showed me that team is human too. And I just think Cam Ward is if you put Cam Ward or Carson Beck going, hey, what quarterback? Cam Ward all day. All day. So I think look, these big games, it comes down to the quarterback. And here's the thing about Carson Beck, Georgia, Miami will get to the quarterback and affect him. And us playing bump and run, it's going to be hard for those receivers to get free. I know they're great athletes, 5 stars and all that stuff, but I think the advantage is Miami in that. Because Cam Ward is just a beast. He's just a beast. All right, my prediction, I think it's going to be 45 to 45. For some reason, I'm thinking like 17. What'd you say, 41-17, Rudy?
I said 44-17.
I say 45-17. I think it's going to be 45-17.
Right.
I think Miami, I don't think it's close. I'm going to give them the touchdown like I gave Florida at the beginning. It's a trash touchdown at the end of the game. Second string is in for Virginia Tech, maybe third string. We're playing depth. I don't even call our people third and fourth string. We're just playing lots of depth at that time because Miami's that good. So that's what I say. We'll see you for the almost instant reaction after the game. It's Friday night. We'll be working then. I'll be shooting my special in Phoenix. Oh, actually, Tempe, Arizona at the Tempe Improv. If you get a chance, come on out. Forrest, where are you?
I'm at the Sad Man Comedy Cafe. Last time I have to say that because it does sound funny. In Boca Raton, Friday and Saturday night. Friday, most of you guys will be everyone I'm assuming will be watching the Virginia Tech game. I'm going to show up there in the fourth quarter and be in the parking lot at the beginning. Look for me. I'll be running around the parking lot in the beginning. And Saturday at the Sad Man Comedy Cafe in Boca Raton.
Rudy.
Awesome. This week I'm going to be at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis with Adam Ray. The next week I'll be in Vegas with you, Michael, at Kimmel's on Wednesday, Thursday, then Friday, the Pasadena Ice House, and then Saturday, the Pasadena Ice House. First show sold out with Michael Yo already, so that's looking awesome.
First show sold out, and second show is halfway sold out, so it looks like we're going to sell out 2 shows.
Yeah.
So come on out if you get a chance. We're all over the place. Me and Rudy will be rolling that whole week. Kelsey Farese that you saw earlier in the podcast, she's actually going to come October 5th, Pasadena Ice House.
Oh, nice.
We're going to take a group photo. Forrest won't be there.
No,
But
Photoshop man.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
well,
got it, buddy.
now with new cameras, we can just put you in.
Yeah.
Send me that shot of you in the car. That's the shot I want of you in the
Off
car.
to the side. Just put me
Yes.
off to the side.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you listen to the podcast. It's free. All this is free. All we want is your subscription and leave comments. If you want to leave a comment, we'll read it on the air. If you want to complain about me talking about AJ Allen, do that. If you want to complain about Forrest having PTSD, you could do that. Rudy is such a great guy. I don't know what you would complain about. So,
in fact, I haven't showered in 3 days and then got on a podcast thinking like this was presentable.
yeah, no, you look good.
Yeah.
You look good.
Thanks. Yeah. Question mark. Yeah.
Question mark. All right. So look, we're at about 830 followers. Thank you. You know, our goal is to get to 1,000. So if we do that, great. But we're doing this for you. We're doing this for us. And we just want to say thank you. We'll see you.